Man, this movie is insane. I saw it almost a week ago now, and I still don't really know what my thoughts are. And for anyone asking, didn't this movie come out like 2 months ago by now? And maybe in America, but here in Scandinavia, it came out last week. Oh, last month. So you'll have to just deal with it. But after a great deal of pondering, I think I managed to unscramble my thoughts enough to have something to say about... Okay, before we get to the actual movie, we'll have to talk about the promotion. Anticipation is something that's been lacking sorely for the last few years in cinema. I still remember walking the theaters for Endgame, for The Force Awakens, The Batman. Across the Spider-Verse were probably the last time I was truly excited to see a movie. Don't get me wrong. I have been excited, of course, to see a lot of movies over the last 3 years, but something hasn't really been the same. It hasn't been on the same level as it was back then. The closest thing to the entirety of last year that came close to that anticipation was probably the new Knives Out, which isn't really the same thing because I sat in the sofa watching that in my underwear. I did have popcorn, so that was something, I guess. I simply missed the cinematic experience pre-COVID. I know, I'm a little young to already be getting nostalgic, but you gotta admit, there was something special in the air in those 2017, 2018, 19 days. The hype was electric, feeling like it was an event and everyone's invited. And I honestly think I got that feeling again. The marketing for this movie was genius. Some might say they were doing too much or overdoing it, but I'm happy that actually trying is in style again. No more of this acting nonchalant shit, which leads me quite nicely into...
Truth is, I'm really in pursuit of greatness.
Our main man, Timothy Chalamet, and I'ma come clean. I think I'm a little biased here. Everything I've seen this man in, he is great. I'm fully bought in and expect a sweet return on my investment. From the heartfelt character work in Little Woman, to a fun spin on Wonka, to the straight up badass performance in Dune, which is for a fact one of the greatest action movie main characters of all time at this point. And I can say for certain we can add Marty Supreme to that list. The movie as a whole might be a complete mess and a train wreck at certain points, I'll even admit that. But Timmy over here, he is locked in from frame one. He disappears completely into this character. He nails the mannerisms, the confidence, the emotional moments. I don't doubt for a second. He definitely carries this movie on his back, and it would not be nearly as good or watchable without his performance. Many of you might now be commenting, "Stop glazing so much." And first of all, how could I not? But second of all, yeah, the character's not perfect. But I think that's mostly, or like 99% because of the... The writing in this movie is pretty hard to describe. The plot is structured in such a way that it's so difficult to predict where we're going next, making the whole thing a huge mess like I said before. Although, that is kind of the point. Life of Marty Mouser is one of extreme highs and extreme lows. Therefore, this run and gun style of structure in a movie fits the character quite well. The pretty loose goal of making it to Japan gives enough of a reason to drive the plot forward. I also love the fact that even though we know the goal, we, or at least I, had no idea if he's actually gonna reach that goal or just fall flat on his face. You know, if he's actually gonna win or lose in Japan or even gonna make it there in the first place. It's honestly such a breath of fresh air in a movie or a time in movies where, you know, everything is so predictable in the streaming era. Of course, if you already knew Marty's real life story, then this wouldn't be a real surprise for you, but that is kind of the benefit of doing a biopic of someone less known. It's hard to surprise people when making a movie about Elvis or Michael Jackson. The general public simply don't know the ins and outs of the story of Marty Reisman, or maybe even never heard his name in their life, as in the case for me. This allows that chaotic storytelling to run rampant across the movie, for the good and for the bad. Let's start with the good. The batshit crazy nature of this film makes it far from boring to watch, let me tell you. It is decently lengthy, so the movie dragging is a real risk, but that is far from a problem. It also allows for some hilarious moments from time to time, even though it isn't really a comedy. However, the fast pacing never allows a character to breathe. Almost all characters suffer, even our main man Marty at times. Take Tyler the Creator's character for example. The middle part where Marty and him go on like a street level buddy cop adventure bromance kind of thing is probably the best part of the entire film. Their chemistry is so good I kinda wish we followed them the entire time. But after he drops off Marty, we basically don't see him for the rest of the movie. Only a small little scene before the third act, which is not enough. And he basically doesn't even get a line. It's just a little small peek. Same with Marty's girl Rachel. She shows up early for a few scenes, then totally disappears for at least 40 minutes, or at least it feels like it. Same with Gwyneth Paltrow's character, same with Kevin O'Neill's character, it just feels like an epidemic at this point. I do gotta quickly add something though. The actors are doing a great job for the most part. Even the ones that aren't really actors. Yeah, you can tell Kevin O'Neill is not an actor and he's a little stiff as Rockwell, but he's basically cast as himself as a businessman, so he's not really have to put in that much work and he totally works in this movie. But it's Tyler's performance that I'm really excited by. I haven't seen him in anything else before, and so this is the first time I'm seeing him, and man, this guy can act. And I just love him in this. I really hope he keeps on acting because he was electric in every scene he was in. And like I said before, I wish he was there the entire time with Marty because they have such good chemistry and I loved their scenes together. It was fun, it was energetic, dramatic, everything you can tell, and I want to see more Tyler. Back to the topic. These gaps where character just disappears severely hinders their progression as characters. We don't get to see them enough to see a change in them, some sort of arc over the whole story. It feels more like a collection of whatever, at times, which leads me back to Marty. It hinders his character as well. He's the same confident, manipulative douchebag the whole film, and I'm supposed to believe he completely changed his priorities after winning in Japan. Sorry, but I did not buy it. If anything, his priorities would be even more focused on pinpoint at this point because his methods, his questionable methods, are seemingly effective because he did make it to the top and beat the best player in the world, which makes it feel so rushed that he suddenly just embraces his family. And I know, you know, fatherhood can change you, but nothing has indicated that he'll actually change his way, and it's kind of cheap from a storytelling perspective. But it also creates a really weird messaging in this movie. It's basically saying it's okay to scam your friends, be a complete douchebag, and just abuse and manipulate everyone around you, your family, friends, relatives, whatever, for your own goals, because in the end, it's gonna be worth it. Like, no, that is not what people should be taking from this film. They should be taken like, yeah, go for your goals, but still take care of your family, you know, the balance. But I don't feel like we get that here. I needed some bigger consequences, honestly, for Marty at the end. Some bigger realization that his attitude is harmful for himself and his family, and his attitude needs to change to make himself happier in life. And that, not every, you know, film has to have a happy ending or a good message. But I feel like this movie was building towards that and tried to do that at the end, but just fell a little short, or a lot short of that, which is probably the biggest drawback. And they didn't tie up the sack thematically. And now I'm just rambling, but it just makes me frustrated. So, where does this leave us? After hearing me complain for the last 5 minutes, you might think I totally hate this movie, which I really don't. The vibes are high, the energy's there. I love Timmy. He's doing a great performance, an Oscar, you know, deserving performance, and the rest of the actors, top to bottom. We're talking about Gwyneth Paltrow and Tyler, to the smallest character, just putting in work here. I love the writing for the most part. It's just the ending and like thematically how we tie things up. It's a little weird. It's not horrible. It's just maybe not matured enough or like developed enough. I feel like it needed a few more passes. Otherwise than that, great film. You should definitely watch it. I would recommend you to watch it in theaters because it is really fun to watch, and I definitely watched it again. And therefore, I am leaning towards an 8 out of 10. Great movie. Not a best picture or anything, but you know, a great movie. Thank you for watching all the way through. If you liked the video, like the video. It's that simple. Subscribe as well. I'm a small YouTuber. I wanted to grow. If you have anything you like me to cover, comment that down below. Anything you want me to do differently, give your recommendations or suggestions. I'd love to read them. I'll answer them. And yeah, until next time, have a great day.